Okay. So you can hear me better now, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So again, I'm just gonna go briefly over it, so that way everything's recorded, so that way everything's tracked and documented, so that way there's no like you can't say like, hey, I wasn't told this or this wasn't said. So at the end of the day, the reevaluation is based off of the fact that you were metagaming. So you're taking NRP experience from another server and you're bringing it into this server, which ultimately, yeah, no, you're good, Corey, which ultimately has major repercussions, which could lead to also RP13 from the faction as well. With that being said, could lead to major repercussions with your career, your furtherment. It will continue it's ultimately going to, if you go through the reevaluation and this occurs again, the sanctions are going to be based off of, the DFG and the chief's discretion. At the end of the day, any experience that you have with NRP, any players that you know from another server does not and cannot interfere with your role play in this server here, as you are under a new life. It's a new character, regardless if you're under the same name or not.
Okay. NRP though, it's not from a different server. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so if you're under a new name or NRP, if there's a character that's under a new name, such as myself, for example, previously my name was Whiskey Tango, although NRP, my name has changed from WHISKY to WHISKEY. So therefore, my character is under a new name, NRP, so therefore I am completely a new character.
Got it.
May I ask, what is what is going on with the metagaming situation?
NRP. Somebody has me on body cam saying let's turn off the radio. NRP. Somebody has me saying this account's name on a different account in the same server.
Oh, okay, I understand.
NRP. I'm not going to bring that other person with the body cam footage into this because that's just a dick. That's just being a dick at that point.
Right. So I mean, like, is this going to be like a situation that continuously occurs, or like, can you be
No,
reevaluated and go through the module again, and then be corrected on that?
I will do it again.
All right, absolutely. Perfect. All right, so let's go over to the macro training room. I'm just going to go over, the RP rules, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that you're attentive. So I'm going to ask a series of questions at the end of, the going through, each violation. So not violation, RP rule. So let's go over there real quick. All right. So
Hold on one second. Collect my task real quick.
you said what?
Oh, I was collecting a task, so I would stop the notification about it.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in. So basically, what we're gonna go over is the faction roleplay rules. So that's gonna consist of quite a few different things. So the first one that we're gonna start off with is gonna be so obviously metagaming. So that's gonna be our very first one. So RP5 metagaming. So it can also be abbreviated to MG. So using real information in RP. So that can persist of using like anything. Say for example, NRP, if there's a situation where like political events are going on and then conversations are being said without the use of NRP or /n, those conversations cannot be had. Therefore, those are conversations being held inside the game realm that is bringing information outside of the realm of the game into the game. which could ultimately have either disagreements, arguments, or create a lot of more tensions than what's necessary. This also includes if you have previous experience with another server. For example, say that you're a DFG or an FG from another server, and without the use of an N /N or an RP, that can also be in violation of RP5 metagaming. The punishment from this can be 30-minute mute to a 60-minute mute, or 60 minutes in jail. So this can also lead to, if you're in part of the faction, can also lead to your RP13. So what RP13 is non-faction roleplay. So non-faction roleplay behavior with inside game factions, including unlawful arrests or release of prisoners or executions of civilians by police. Punishments can range from automatic removal from the faction, or it can also lead to 30 minutes in one state jail or to a 3-day ban. So you can ultimately be sanctioned, banned, or removed from the faction. RP14, sexual harassment. Any forms of consensual sexual harassments, including simulation or explicit dialogue, actions, or use of ethnicity or LGBTQ slurs, or excessive attention. If you're like consistently, messaging somebody in sexual advances and they're not willing to, or they're not wanting to engage in those things, that can be viewed as RP14. If you're saying making sexual advances and that's not wanted, that's also RP14. So RP14 doesn't just cover sexual harassment, but it also covers race and religion, so discrimination. So any discrimination is a form of RP14. So sex, religion, nationality, ethnicity, anything along those lines can be viewed as RP14. So our next one is going to be RP11, non-compliance with protected areas. So committing crimes or attacking other players inside green zones or work zones and working vehicles. Lying in wait to kill players exiting green zones is also prohibited. Also, criminal activities close to the green zones areas, such as hospital or vehicle marketed, are not allowed. Punishment to those can be 30 minutes to 60 minutes in one state jail. RP10, which is repeat kill. So killing or chasing a player after they die, returning to the place of a previous death within 15 minutes, or until the end of the situation which the character is dead. So meaning that anytime that you come into a situation where a player, so for example, I'll use HP because HP is one of the most, one of our most active areas. So if you go to HP, you get shot and killed in that area, you cannot remember anything leading up to the time of your death, meaning that you can't remember who killed you, what they wore, what they dressed, what they were driving, anything along those lines. So you can go to another area of the map and you can patrol that, but you cannot return back to HP for 15 minutes. So that would be RP10, which is the new life rule. So RP7 is disbalance RP via do, me, try commands. So those are going to be like anything that is like obviously unrealistic, something that is like a very small statistic, that would be, for example, NRP, gang members, they don't, you don't see a lot of gang members tasing officers and shooting and killing them. So that's a very, small percentage, which the statistics of that doesn't, hardly ever happen. So that can be a form of the RP7. RP6 is RP rejection, so any rejection of RP process for personal gain. So for example, if you are trying to apprehend a person, for example, when you're at hospital and you're running after the person and you start getting shot and you run back to the green zone, and then you're standing in the green zone and you're waiting for that person to come back and you're running back out to the, back into the road to try to apprehend that person, and say that, you start getting shot again, you run back into the green zone. So that right there, you're kind of rejecting the role play. So you're using the game's system to take advantage of that RP scenario. So anything along those lines can result to 30 to 60 minutes in one state jail, depending on the frequency. All right, So, with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a series of questions based off of the information that I gave you. And I'm going to ask you what the RP rule is, when can it apply, and how much time is the consequence for that. So, we're going to start with the very first one, which is going to be metagaming. What is RP5, and what is this? What is the punishment for RP5? Do me a favor also, please try to go based off of your memory versus looking into the game book for the rules.
Yeah, hold on, I'm just trying to remember. Oh yeah, RP5, bringing real world info into the game.
Sorry, Bob. I got some IRL stuff I was doing.
No, you're good, Corey. Yes. All right. So, what is the punishment?
15-minute jail time.
You said how long?
30-minute mute, 60-minute jail time.
Perfect. All right. So, can you tell me what a RP10 is? And again, please try to go based off of memory. This is what the course is for. So if you have to look at it, that's fine. Just be honest that you're looking at the information. If you need to study on the RP rules, that's perfectly understandable. It's a lot of information. From the description of it to what the time is for the punishment. So if you're, I personally, we want, I do this with, even the unbadged, go based off of, what you know. And if you don't know it, then just tell me, and then you can go in there and you can look at the information.
Yeah, I'm gonna look to see what an RP10 is again, so I can refresh my memory.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. So RP10 is going to be repeat kill. So that's going to be your new life rule. So anytime that you die, you can't remember anything leading up to the time of your death, what the person is wearing, what they're driving, and you cannot return back to the area for 15 minutes.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that part, but I knew the jail time was 90 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of situations, scenarios happen around that because if that person is still at that scene, for that 15 minutes and they're still there and they're recording and they see you come back, within like 10 minutes, they can go ahead and submit a green ticket and that will get you sanctioned in RP13. So that's something that we want to avoid, and so that way. That's the whole reason I implemented, the RP rules is so that way, we're not just throwing officers out there, without knowing. So that way it's kind of, because to me, it was like a sink or a swim. So, I want to make sure that we're, training, very high caliber officers. So next question, what is RP13? And can you give me a description or a scenario of RP13?
Fashion NRP, which means not using NRP when you're speaking. Let's see here. NRP. Crap. Hold on.
No, you're good. Yeah, there's no time limit to answering any questions or anything like that. It's just like I said, I'm more, I like honesty. So like, if people look, that I understand, it's a lot of stuff, but just let me know if you're looking, so that way, I know that how to appropriately judge the the reevaluation. If you need me to go over what RP13 is again for you, I will. That's not a problem.
Non-roleplay behavior.
Okay, so give me a scenario of RP13. Without using the description from the rules, give me a scenario outside of the description. Because there's a lot of things that can, ultimately count towards RP13.
Here is the art store. Floor number 2. Yeah. Going down.
I'm just trying to think of a scenario right now. Scenario right now. So bear with me here.
No, you're fine. I mean, like RP13 is one of our biggest ones. That's like the number one rule that we should definitely know if we're joining any faction for that matter.
I know. I'm just trying to think of a scenario.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I mean, honestly, I can think of like 10 of them off the top of my head. Just because like, just think about like different scenarios when you go out there, or think about like if you've ever encountered like an officer who's got RP13, from a faction. What did they do to get that?
Yeah, you got one?
No, I'm doing my mission patrols right now, brother.
Oh, we're about to head and do a wanted right now.
Alright.
I was saying NRP when you go to say something that does not revolve around the game. Like NRP. Crap.
So if it doesn't revolve around the game, think about that. Think about the very first question that I asked you. What is metagaming? So metagaming is using real life information, or using information from other servers or other experience. So it depending on the admin, if they they could look at it both ways. They could, but the likelihood of them actually giving them an RP13 for that scenario is few and far between. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to you. So RP13, there's a scenario such as if you're shooting from a green zone. If you're shooting from a green zone as a police officer, you will be RP13'd out, which could be ultimately a 2,160 minute ban. So you will be removed from the faction for RP13 on that, which is, yeah. So that will lead to your 3-day ban. So that's one scenario. Another scenario would be if you're arresting another police officer outside of a training training module. If you're shooting an officer outside of a training module, if you're tasing an officer outside of a training module, those are all examples of what RP13 is: non-faction role play. Unlawful release of prisoners. Shooting and killing, civilians. That is the description of what RP13 is. For word. But there's many things that can fall under that category.
Okay.
All right. So based off of the questions I did ask, you were eligible to get 2 of the out of the 5 right. So my thing is I cannot. So I'm gonna have to talk to DFG. What I'm gonna need you to do is literally go in the rule book right next to the store icon. If you click on the book, go to rules, and then go all the way down to the RP rules. Please do a refresher course. Read through those. Study on them today. Later on this evening or tomorrow morning, we're gonna do another reevaluation. And I would love to see a vested officer, in your caliber, pass this with flying colors. I had unbadged officers, a lot of unbadged officers that were going through the program, and they were eligible to answer every one of those questions I had. So it does concern me a little bit that you are a vested officer and you are unfamiliar, especially with like RP13 scenarios. So I mean, like, it's nothing against you by any means. This is honestly, this is what I'm here for. I'm here for the training, making sure that our officers are fully trained, because we want the best of the best. And I mean, like, I'm not saying you're the best of the best. I'm just saying that we definitely need to work on getting you to know what the RP rules are.
I swear to God, you only asked me 3 questions. What's
No.
metagaming? 1. Crap. What's the other? Then you asked me
Metagaming, new life rule, RP13, RP14, and RP10.
You never asked me about RP14 or 10.
RP10 is the new life rule that I asked you. That was the second
And then
question
that's-
after.
no, but what about 13?
Say that again?
We stopped at RP. We stopped at RP13.
Yeah, so everything is documented based off of my body cam. So like I have it to where I can record my voice and hear your voice as well. So that way, there can't be any like he said, she said or anything like that. So that way I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to be like that. I just have to talk to DFG about it. The only one that you did answer correctly was the metagaming. So it does, like I said, it does concern me. And it doesn't mean that, you get demoted or anything. All it means is that you just got to go through, study up on, the RP rules that, we were talking about. And all we have to do is just do another reevaluation test like we just did. And if you pass those with flying colors, there's not, you know what I mean? There's nothing you have to worry about.